Hello everybody and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Leaf. I actually forgot I was wearing my wetsuit. Let me take that off really quick and put it back in that letter before I forget and then accidentally throw away the letter, not remembering that it's supposed to be kept. Frisk, stop with the garbage. No, don't give me that look. Yes, I know. Some packaging was put in the garbage. It was the empty packaging. You've got your toys. Ooh. Right, I'm in my inventory. I'm like, why can't I move? I'm in the inventory. I'm kind of out of it tonight. IRL, it's Easter for Frisk and I. It'll be Easter for everyone else, like, tomorrow. Well, in the morning. It's 3:30 in the morning, so today it's Easter for everybody. It's just everybody's still in bed. So Frisk got her Easter toys and stuff, and that's what she's after in the garbage, is the empty packaging from that. But, yeah. I was kind of out of it. I think today I'm just gonna mostly focus on tending my flowers. Yay, can you see my house dumpling? What's going on? Wow, let's check. I know Penelope, right? Last time we were talking, our neighbor left something in my house. Could you return to her, please? I'm just too busy. Alright. You know, I can actually believe you're busy because you're in your house. That's not asking a lot. It's 3:30. There's plenty of time left in the day. Considering the day ticks over at 6 a.m. There is literally 15 hours left to today. Ugh, jeez. I didn't do much other than I played a little bit of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with some folks from the 8-Bit Discord. Because that was their game night today, was, or on Saturday, was playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Which I half-ass hosted, half-ass didn't. Penelps. Got you a delivery. And sadly, it's not cheese. It is not cheese. I love how that works. It's just, what is it? Cheese? No, it's, it might be cheese, actually. Maybe you left your cheese over there. Hey, my microscope. See, let's store at Pinky's house. I had no idea. Thanks for your help. So thank you, gift. Cheese. And orange. This is also not cheese. Her catchphrase is working so well as her just always being like, is it cheese? Cheese? I would like cheese. And like, I know you would. I know our girl Penelope would love some cheese. Caught a stink bug. Hey, it's actually new. I thought it was something we already had. Lather's gonna love that. I mean, he'll really love it if we have 2 to give him, but... Wait, like 2 bugs or 2 things, but... Because he really doesn't like singular bugs. But yeah, delivered it. Expecting delivery to Penelope. How'd it go? Here's the story. I'm glad I was able to return to our neighbor. I'm glad too. Like, I basically, the Saturday night stream wasn't great, and that's kind of taken me out of things. I knew before I even hit to go live that doing more Master Duel Masochist this early in the month was a bad idea. I knew it. I just didn't realize how bad of an idea. Hey, weather stuff with like this makes me want to work my god, baby. What I help you with? Slayerst. Trying my best to catch an oarfish, but I've been a total failure at it. It's frustrating. I can try, but I think it needs to be raining. Isn't it? Pretty sure. Are those a fish that needs to be raining for? Well, either way, here's the gem rock. I suppose I could do some ocean fishing today. I haven't done much fishing in this series yet. But yeah, basically had 2 wins in 2 hours, and every other duel was basically a full power deck minus 1. Even the ones I won, I was not facing particularly weak opponents. Like, the first duel I won was against a Cyberdark player who simply didn't know the combos well enough to have enough time left to win. He timed out. It was a time limit win. And the other duel I won was a connection issue. So, like, neither of the wins felt good, because they were both duels I lost. I should have lost anyway. And it's like, I can't even feel good about the wins, because, like, everything else was such a slog. So I think when I get back to Master Duel Masochist stuff, it is going to exclusively happen in the later half of each month, until my deck is sufficiently built up. Because at least right now, it just doesn't work. Fishing tourney you've all been waiting for is coming at last this Saturday! Let's see if I can actually remember. The problem with Saturdays is I need to remember to be in before 6. But then also back for 8. It's kind of inconvenient. I might see about, for fishing tourneys, just dedicating some of my own time away from a video to just doing the fishing tourney. And that way you guys can get the KK concert and the results of the tourney while I can just not have to worry about recording the tourney. Barbara, you got fleas, girl! Give me that flea. I mean, you do got a lot of fluff. Get it off, get it off! Oh, you did. Can't believe you found a flea on me. Let's just keep this our own little secret, okay? Chat. It's our secret with Barbara. You cannot break her trust. No telling anybody Barbara had a flea. That is our sacred charge now. It is our secret to take to the grave that Barbara had a flea. But yeah, like, at the very least, late in the month, there's a lot more low-powered decks. Like, right now, Silver was feeling a lot like Platinum. And I know I've yapped about this before, but like, I really feel like the easy solution for Konami in this situation is to simply make different ban lists per rank. Because, if people couldn't play their meta decks in low silver, well, they wouldn't. They would have to play something else, which would sell more cards. The other day with Vic, we were talking about having a fun get-together this spring. Where should we have it? There's the springs to the river. A spring barbecue by the river. Great idea. Fresh fish for everyone. Oh, the river's always just a few steps away in this town. That'll make things easy. Oh, you want to know what sort of gathering we'd be having? It's a mint tea seminar. I have no idea what we'd actually do there. Presumably talk about mint tea. So you can count me out, because I don't deal with mint. Me and mint are not simpatico. Which does also mean, if you ever find yourself with the burden of a staff and you wish to get rid of that staff, mint. That gets rid of me pretty quickly. Alright. This is a lot of actual artwork. Plant Man. It's like a bad DC hero. His nose is a carrot, so he's fake. This is always genuine, but I'm pretty sure I already have that. The mans are on the wrong side. She's not wearing her headscarf. Yeah, I'll buy it anyway. I'm pretty sure I already have it, but I'll buy it anyway. Yep. I know my mailbox is not overflowing, Red. We're good. But, yeah. Like, you might be wondering, like, oh, what do you mean by that? As far as I can tell, I am allergic to mint. So, yeah, it's a pretty quick way to deal with a staph, because literally it could probably kill me. So I tend to avoid it. Which also means that rather sneakily, anytime that, like, really any of my family members want something, but don't want me having any of it, they will make sure it is something mixed with mint. So, like, the last thing I can remember like this was a giant bag of, like, varied Lindor chocolates that they basically got to pick which ones they wanted, and they picked some mint ones. And then when they got home, they're like, okay, so yeah, just don't take the mint ones. It's like, okay, but which ones are those? I don't know, figure it out. It's like, that's not a way I can do things. But I knew it was more that was a gift for my sister without it being directly a gift for my sister. So, you know, that's why it was that way. Plus, they all know I'm not the biggest chocolate person anyway. So it's not like I was that bummed out about not being able to have the chocolates. I really didn't care. I still don't care. I'm not a big chocolate person. I just got a crap load of Easter chocolate that I will probably still have next Easter. As in, quite literally, this is last Easter. Still on my desk. It's, some Cadbury mini eggs. Like, half the bag of them. Still here. I'm not a big chocolate person. I just don't really eat chocolate. I don't really eat sweets that often, really. The only exception that I can actually eat a lot of is donuts. And I still don't know entirely what it is about donuts, but I can eat a lot of donuts. As in, quite literally, I have bought like a dozen donuts before and ate them all same day. Which is a lot. Every time I've done that, by the end of the day, my stomach hurts, but that's more because of how much junk I put in it, not exactly just because it was sweet junk. I can make my stomach upset by eating, you know, like 3 Reese cups. Like, it's, yeah. I feel like that's just because I never really had many sweets growing up, and, like, anytime that, like, and my mother will mention this a lot when I bring my theory up to her, is like, well, I never asked for any sweets, because I didn't. I would always ask for, like, potato chips, or Cheetos, or, you know, something along those lines. A savory snack. Dried fish was a really common one. Like, smoked dried salmon is really frickin' good. At least in my opinion. Like, I would gladly take that over, like, a package of Reese cups. It's just what I would do. I like it more. And I would eat it so much faster. Like, actually kind of wish I could have some of that stuff, but you can't really find it around here. It's more of a Digby thing, I feel. It's not really where I'm living now kind of thing. Which, for obvious reasons, I will not be saying where I'm living now. Margie! I kept seeing her a little bit earlier, then just not finding her again. Hey there, Steven. Ready for another great day, Tootie? So, what can I do for you? Let's talk. Need your help. Please, I'm having trouble getting the look and feel of my place just right. Something in my... Okay, something on the table. Could go with a gyroid. I got a few of those. They're funny little guys. But yeah, I was actually talking with some people earlier about, like, the idea of moving different places. And, like, everyone in that group seemed to be of the consensus of, like, oh man, yeah, don't move to Japan because they're such a xenophobic country. It's like, oh man, a country that hates foreigners. Isn't that literally every country ever? The difference being, and you can hear this from people who move to Japan who are actually respectful, if you respect Japan, the people of Japan respect you in return because you respect their country. Like, a lot of people will see, like, their favorite YouTubers visit Japan, be loud, boisterous, always have a camera in their hands, and shoving it in their own and other people's faces, and then come away from that going, man, the people of Japan, really, they're so xenophobic, they hate foreign. It's like, no. No, they're really not. I mean, they are, but no more than any other country. You will find just as many people in Canada who hate foreigners as you will in Japan. The difference is, it's not as socially acceptable over here to be loud about disliking foreigners. Like, and do I think that's right? Not really. But that's just how people are. I'll admit, I've got some biases myself. Like, I am firmly of the belief that before we should start handing out money and financial support to foreigners, we should make sure every native is taken care of. And that's not just meaning Native Americans, I mean literally natives of Canada. Take care of our own first, then take care of foreigners. We can do both, but we only tend to do one, and that tends to be offer assistance to foreigners. And I'm not downing on these people. Ooh, this lotus lamp. This for Margie. Like, they need work, they need support, they need this stuff. I'm not saying they don't, and I'm glad they get it. I'm just also in the position of being somebody who has been struggling to find work since I became working age. So literally to see people able to move to Canada, because we don't make it hard, and nor should we. We're a welcoming country, and that's how it should be. But to see people able to move to Canada with not even a firm grasp on English or French, and get a job that could have gone to, say, me or someone else who's bottom of the totem pole broke, that does get frustrating. And I'd like to think... Talk with Sable first. Steve, what kind of clothes do you really like? Clothes on me? Gotta be white and green gingham plaid, of course. Not everyone wants the Mabel special, no matter how much you keep trying. Like, I'd like to think that if some of these people knew that, you know, say, a native Canadian got turned away from the job that they're currently working so that that employer could get some government benefits for hiring them, that they would be as upset as I am that, you know, they're not being hired because of anything other than the company gets to save a bit of money for hiring them. you know, that job may not have even been there if, you know, if that incentive wasn't there, because it would have already been filled, you know. And, like, again, I'm not disparaging anyone moving to Canada, finding work. You know, you're fine in my book. It does just get frustrating knowing that, like, I've been looking for work for so long. Lamp. Oh, a lotus lamp is exactly what I needed. Look forward to getting this home and placing it in its place of honor. I don't need nothing. It's my lily pad table. Aww. You're very welcome, Margie. And, like, that's just one of those things of, like, I can almost guarantee you there is a good subset of anyone in any country who thinks similarly to how I'm talking here. Of, you know, I don't hate foreigners. I hate that the government benefits foreigners more than native people. Because it does. Like, I feel like if nothing else, we should all get equal opportunity. That's kind of the point. But we don't, because they offer incentives for companies to hire outside workers, and those companies are going to take those incentives. They're just going to. Like, and I don't even overly blame the companies for this. I do blame the companies for this when they take on those workers and then start cutting the hours of their native workers because they don't get to save as much money for giving them hours. You know, that's when it's getting into being a lot. Okay, I'm gonna start more azalea here. That's a holly. But, you know, that's at least the impression I've gotten from what I have heard from Japanese natives playing games. Because I've met a fair few people from Japan while playing games like EVE Online and other such MMOs. Like, I used to play on the Japanese Phantasy Star Online 2 server. You know, I've interacted with the Japanese a fair bit, and their mentality tends to more be, they don't mind foreigners, they just don't like the foreigners that cause problems. And the main issue is a lot of foreigners cause problems, and the law doesn't exactly treat a foreigner the same way it would treat a native resident. Like, unless you're there working, the worst that might happen to you is you get sent home early. You know, you're probably not going to get arrested, thrown in prison for breaking, unless you break a major law. You know, you're not going to get probably removed from that train car for being loud, even though you are inconveniencing everybody because, they're a foreigner, they don't understand, you know. And with how many programs the Japanese government has where it's like, foreigners, come work! I can't help but feel there's probably a fair bit of resentment towards that as well. Especially if they hire the wrong foreigners. Because there is a tendency in the Japanese workplace where a company will want to keep their status as a company who has never fired anybody. And to do this, they will reduce your hours. Well, they won't reduce your hours, but they'll stop giving you things to do. So you'll go into work, you'll sit down at your desk, and you'll just be told you've got nothing. You have to stay there. You have to sit there. You have to, you know, you are still at work, but there is nothing for you to do. Now, most people, myself included, would hear something like that and go, free money, heck yeah. But in such a, in basically the Japanese social structure, you are literally being worthless. You are, at that point, being a leech. You're highly encouraged to quit. That way they don't need to fire you, because the social pressure made you quit. I would just stay there. Like, I would just take the free money. Which is where they'd have to be careful with foreign workers, because fair few foreign workers would just gladly take the free money for doing nothing and, none of the expectations of work. I think probably one of the funniest things I've heard, and it was actually earlier in regards to this, is, they wouldn't want to move to Japan because of the work culture there. It's like, what, you mean going to work and working? Like, yeah, they sometimes have pretty long hours. That's usually in, like, high business, where even in the West, you're working long hours. Barreled knife jaw. New fish. Like, it's not uncommon to be told you're working overtime today. And it's not like you're not paid for your extra work. You are still paid for it. Like, if you want to work as a salaryman, yes, you are probably going to be working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. But that just comes with the territory. If you're working as a, say, here's an example. If you're working as a lawyer, you think they only work 8 hours and then call it quits? No, they work until their job is done for the day. They might have a strict cutoff at some point, but usually that strict cutoff is well past normal hours. Like, in the town I grew up in, a lot of the lawyers there worked from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That was their office hours, and they would be in unless they were in the courthouse. And the court, would sometimes carry on into 10, 11 p.m. at night if they needed to. Police officers, they tend to work 12-hour shifts, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. At least around here. Like, working long shifts is not a Japanese exclusive thing, yet people seem to think it is. It's just weird to me. I mean, okay, I do feel like a lot of the talk around, like, how quote-unquote bad Japan is to live in comes a lot from hearing the worst. Like, I'm sure that kind of goes for every country. And I say this because from everything I've heard about working in the United States, I wouldn't want to do it. Heck, from everything I've heard about working as a server, I would never want to do that, ever. Especially in the US. Because, what do you mean they don't get paid unless they make tips? Except from looking it up, they actually do in some cases, and in other cases they don't. And another thing from looking it up is they actually tend to make a lot more than minimum wage, which is almost certainly why a lot of them carry on working as servers. There's a lot more to the story than just the negatives of it. Yet people will hear those negatives and go, ah, that's the whole story. It's like, but it's not. I love how I'm like, I'm going to tend my flowers today. And then I spent time fishing because Costal wanted an oarfish. I didn't find an oarfish, but I did find one new fish to donate. But yeah, like, it is a case of like, I'm not even one of these people where I'm like, yeah, I want to move to Japan. Because I kind of don't. I want to move out of Canada at some point. I wouldn't mind that. Or just move around Canada. But like, and Japan is somewhere I've considered. I've also considered the Netherlands. And Sweden. And, you know, Portugal. And Spain. And the UK. And, you know, I've considered a lot of places. For a while, I even considered the United States, but I'm gonna be real, recent events has made me seriously reconsider even ever visiting the United States. So, you know, and nothing against the people, it's, you guys know. But like, you know, there's a lot of places I think it could be neat to live. Do I think they'll be perfect? Nah. Nah, not in the slightest. I don't think Canada's perfect either. Canada has its problems. Everywhere has their problems. The ideal place for you to live is the place where the problems are lesser, or basically the lesser of things you would be concerned about. Like, when it comes to the idea of living in Japan, I'm not actually that worried about people disliking me because I'm foreign. Especially with the knowledge that, in general, Canadians are accepted almost everywhere in the world, but I'm in general a pretty polite person. Just already, I'm already not a loud person. I'm, you know, Pinky, not Pinky, Paula, your name also starts with a P. Hey, do you want my gently used lotus lamp? A friend of mine from back home, he had to close up his shop, so I took a bunch of his stuff of his hands. How about it? For free, of course. Seems legit. Really? I mean, thanks. This will really help me out. Paula's money laundering. Yeah, this is great. Man, my place was looking like a warehouse. Thanks again, Fagoo. Paula's money laundering. Can't believe this. I think I'll work on, like, flowers tomorrow, because I did spend so long today fishing. But, like, you know, that doesn't mean I'm even sitting here being like, yeah, that's top of my list. Nah, it's, like, top 10 places. But that I would like to move, maybe someday. But even then, that's going to be entirely contingent on if I feel like I would be a good fit in that country. And me having an income that's not going to be impacted by moving. You know, if my YouTube and stuff ever massively explode, yeah, I'm gonna heavily consider moving somewhere foreign because I can keep this stuff going in other time zones. You know, I would work from online. It wouldn't really matter, and I would probably just continue to maintain a Canadian citizenship, pay Canadian taxes on the stuff I'm doing, and, you know, not even have to transfer any business expenses to other countries. I could just do transfers in currency from my bank to whatever my other new bank would be, you know. I wouldn't have to change much about what I'm doing. And as long as I spend a month, I think it's 1 month out of the year in Canada, I can maintain dual citizenship literally anywhere. So, you know. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I've yapped so much. For being out of it, I've just yapped a lot. But I mean, basically nothing about the game. Yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. And hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Leaf. See you all then.